Hello, this is the Group 82's demo for the CS434 socket project. We are using multipass to create 4 VMs, 5 VMs, 1 for the tracker and 4 for the peers. Here we see 1 tracker with the following IP address 10.15.249.160, and then we have 4 peers that will be running our client application. Now we will run the tracker VM and start the server process. Here, the server process has started listening on port 41,000 and the IP address 10.15.249.160. Now we will start 4 client processes. This is the first process, second process. This is the third process. And this is the fourth process. We will now be registering 4 users across all 4 of these processes: user A, user B, user C, and user D. Register user A. We see user A is registered successfully on this IP address and port number. This is shown in the logs for the server. Now we register user B. User B has registered on this IP and port number, and it is shown, this is reflected on the server as well. Now we register user C. User C registers on this IP and port number. Then we register user D. Okay, user D has registered, and we should see both of those entries in the logs for the server process. Now we query the users from the user A session. We should see 4 users, number of users online 4, and the users that are online are user A, user B, user C, and user D. Now we will exit the user B's process. Here we see the request to exit the session has been accepted by the tracker and recorded. Successfully remove user B, and let us query the users from user A session. We see only 3 users that are online. Number of users online 3, user A, C, and D. Now we will re-register user B. Okay, user B is back online. Now we will make user A follow user B. We see user A's request to follow user B has been sent and accepted by the tracker. And the tracker has recorded that on its end. Now we will try to follow user B again from user A session, and that request should be denied. This request was denied because user A tried following user B when it was already a follower. And the tracker has recorded that with the log message. User A has already followed user B. Now we will try to make user A follow a non-existent user, user E. The tracker again responds with a failure message. Tracker responded with a failure message when performing follow user for user A. The user E, does not exist in the database. Now, let's make drop user B. Okay, user A's request to unfollow user B has been accepted by the tracker, and user A has stopped following user B. Now we will be setting up the demo for the tweet. So first, we will make all the users, user A, user B, and user C, follow user D. Follow user A, user D. This request has been accepted by the tracker. Follow user B, user D. This request has been accepted by the tracker as well. Follow user C, user D. You see, this request for action follow user was processed by the tracker successfully, so now user C is following user D as well. You see all of these log entries in the log output for the tracker. Now we will initiate a tweet from user D and user tweet. Hello world from user D. Here, we see we entered the message here. Enter the message you want to tweet, hello world from user D. Then user D created a send tweet request that it then sent to the tracker. Send tweet to the IP address of the tracker. And the tracker responded to user D that it was allowed to tweet. And it responded with a success message. And also the list of followers that user D has so that user D can create a logical ring. This is the information about the first follower, user A. Information about the second follower, user B. And information about the third follower, user C. And then user D creates a logical ring of followers. It then compiles a send tweet message. The send tweet message consists of the request that just says send tweet. It has information about the person who owns that message, which is user D. We refer to them as the chain owner. And then it includes the list of all the followers here. The list of followers from user A, user B, and user C. And then we have the tweet payload, which is basically the contents of the tweet. The user D then finds the left peer using the information that it got from the tracker. And the left peer for user D is user A. So we see the information about user A in this message. And it sends the send tweet request to user A. Then user A confirms the receipt of that tweet. And then as the tweet makes its way around, once it is received again by user D prints the following message, tweet propagated successfully, and then prints the tweet itself. User D does not print the tweet until it is propagated through the entire logical ring. Once the right neighbor of user D confirms that it received, confirms that it received a tweet by forwarding user D's tweet to user D again, the user D sends an end tweet message to the tracker. Now, the tracker receives the end tweet request and then responds with a success message and then starts processing the other requests that it has gotten in the meantime. Here we can also see in user A's console, we see that user D has tweeted hello world from user D. In user B's console window, we see user D tweeted hello world from user D. And in user C's console window, we see hello world from user D. Now we will be creating another logical ring where user B, user C, and user D, user B, user C, and user D follow user A. Follow user B, user A. Okay. User B's request to follow user A was processed successfully. Follow user C, user A. User C's request to follow user A was processed successfully. Follow user D, user A. Now we will propagate a tweet from the user A's console window and see it received by user B, C, and D. Tweet. Hello from. This is a tweet from user A. Here we saw the tweet appear in user B's window. We also see the send tweet message that was compiled by user A and sent to user B. Here it says, received a tweet message from user A. And we should also see the tweet in user C console window and user D's console window. This means the tweet propagated successfully. And in our tracker, we also see that the tracker received an end tweet message from user A after it received the contents.
If you want meeting, you can go there or go outside. Okay.
Oh, I'm recording a demo for.
But we're starting.
Okay, sorry about that. Here we see the tweet from user A has been propagated across all of its followers. Now, one of our last test cases is for one of the users to stop following user A. We will go with user C. Here, drop user A. We see user C's request to unfollow user A has been accepted by the tracker. So the tracker has now updated its database to reflect that user C no longer follows user A. And now we will initiate another tweet from the user A's console. Tweet. User A has tweeted again. And we see user B received the tweet. User D received the tweet, but user D did not. User C, sorry, user C did not receive the tweet, since C is no longer amongst the followers of user A. And now we will gracefully exit all of these sessions and demonstrate the exit functionality. We see user A's request to exit the session has been accepted. And we see the same reflected on the tracker logs. Now, user B's request to exit was accepted by the tracker as well. User C's request to exit was accepted by the tracker, and the C session terminated gracefully. And user D's session to exit was accepted by the tracker as well. Okay, now we will terminate the tracker process by pressing Control C. And this concludes our presentation. Thank you.